Hey guys, Omni here. 2022 is coming to a close, and I thought I would give you guys my top 10 favorite films of the year. Again, I like to do favorite because my opinion, my feeling, my emotional connection has a lot to play into what films I enjoy. I don't want to go around saying best or worst or anything like that. And this year I also don't think I'm going to be doing a least favorite list, just because I don't want to put out any more negativity out there. This year I ended up seeing 42 films, 31 of which I did see in theaters, only 2 of which were theatrical releases that I watched later on streaming. Of course, Glass Onion and Don't Worry Darling. Glass Onion, I don't know if I should really count because it didn't play here. Don't Worry Darling did, but Glass Onion, it did not. It was a limited release, so it didn't play here. And then the remainder were 9 films that went straight to streaming. And surprisingly, there were some of those that I was like, why wasn't this in theaters, man? This would have done, I don't know if it would have done well, but it would have been a damn good watch in theaters though. But we'll get to that when we get to that. And if you're curious which films I've seen, because I definitely haven't seen every film that came out this year. So if you're wondering why, oh, how did you not put this thing on the list? Maybe I didn't see it, but I'll put in the description all the movies that I did see this year, so for context. But for now, let's dive into my top 10 favorite films of 2022. Starting off with my number 10, and that is going to be Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I really wasn't sure of how I was going to enjoy this one because the change to 3D animation versus the classic 2D was something that really did jar with me when watching the trailers. However, when I actually sat down to watch the movie, that quickly melted away because this film really gripped me with its story, with its character development, because this film really does focus on one of the strongest relationships in the entire series, and that is Gohan and Piccolo and their relationship, their dynamic, their bond that they have, and really kind of carries that to new heights. I really did love this because it feels like something that the series overall is kind of forgotten or mostly ignored in the last couple decades. It's a wild ride, and this movie does a really good job at encapsulating so many things from so many different segments of the series' legacy that it brings back and pays homage to so many things for longtime fans, man. Some things that honestly I've been waiting and hoping for a long time. Some things that I think a lot of people were also kind of itching for to happen. There's like, it even gave us one of my favorite, I'd say, highlights of the entire series so far. This movie is a must watch for any longtime Dragon Ball fan.
It's do or die time. So draw out all your strength and use it to protect your world and everyone in it.
My number 9 is going to be Enola Holmes over on Netflix, starring Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill. This is, again, a dynamic that I'm not sure I would have ever thought to ask for or that I would have wanted, but these two have such a strong chemistry and dynamic and relationship between these characters, and let alone just the casting of Henry Cavill as Sherlock Holmes. I've talked about this in my review for the first film. It's just not something I would have expected, but he nails this role. It has this warmth, this wholesome quality to it, this fun, witty, snarky nature to this whole film. It's just a lot of fun to watch this mystery unfold, watch these characters fumble around through this whole thing. The intrigue, the interplay between the characters, the clues, the mystery itself. It's just a lot of fun with that fourth wall breaking, with Helena Bonham Carter in here as well. There's a lot of fun elements in this. This was just a really, really fun, wholesome movie to watch, and I really hope we do get more of these characters. Either way, this one introduced me to a fun new character, and I really enjoyed the ride. Honestly, I saw Millie Bobby Brown in this role before I even started Stranger Things, so that's, having watched Stranger Things and now coming back into this, I don't know, it added a whole other level to me watching this film versus the first one.
Why are you here? Is it my case or your own?
Both. Seems our cases are connected.
The game has found its feet again.
My number 8 is going to be Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog, I think, made my previous top 10 of the year when that came out. That movie really surprised the crap out of me. This film took everything that worked in the first film and really did up the ante and focused primarily on Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails in this, bringing them into this. A lot of video game references, homages to the games, the levels, and storylines themselves are called out here. There are still some things that are holding it down a little bit from being anywhere higher on this list, but that third act finale more than made up for it, man. Oh my lord. I had so much fun with this. I love seeing these characters, and I really cannot wait for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 if you saw that post-credit scene. My number 7 is going to be Prey. I'm a longtime Predator fan. Love the original film. Love 2, underrated as it is. But after that, I feel like the franchise has kind of been trying to figure out its footing. This film really does bring the franchise back to its basics, back to its roots, and grounds it in a way that we haven't seen in a long time. It is a very intimate cat and mouse game. And I gotta say, Amber Midthunder did a phenomenal job in this role and was a real formidable opponent for this creature that I really did enjoy because it took it down to the core aspects of what this franchise is about. And I really recommend it. I'm surprised that they dropped this on Hulu. It did great there, but I really would have loved to see this film in theaters. It was gorgeous. It was a lot of fun. It is brutal, and it tickled every itch that I've had as a Predator fan that I have not been getting scratched for a long time.
Whatever did this, I can kill it.
Number 6 is going to be Ty West's Pearl, starring Mia Goth. This is a prequel to his film that also came out this year, X, also starring Mia Goth. It's phenomenal. It is eerie, it is uncomfortable, and Mia Goth gives a performance that slays, both figuratively and literally, as she plays this character who we're just peeling back these layers in some of the most uncomfortable of ways. This character who's got a lot going on behind the scenes. And over the course of the movie, you start to see some of these layers getting peeled back slowly but surely. And it is uncomfortable, it's unnerving. If you have a weak stomach, you might have some issues here and there. But it is wild, and Mia Goth, unfortunately, his performance I feel like is going to go overlooked because, of course, it's a genre film, it's a horror film, and those don't get as much attention as they deserve, because she gives one of the highlight performances of the year, in my opinion.
I want to be loved from as many people as possible. But truth is, I'm not really a good person.
Number 5 is going to be Baz Luhrmann's Elvis, starring Austin Butler and Tom Hanks. Austin Butler melted away into the role of Elvis Presley, man. He was phenomenal. He absolutely blew me away in this movie. This movie is beautiful. The production value is top notch. It really did a great job encapsulating this world, this icon, and it was such a wild ride, and it will have you humming those tunes long after you leave that theater.
The greatest show on earth.
Number 4 is going to be a little bit of a personal pick for me because I love Kevin Smith, I love these films, I love this director, and that of course is going to be Clerks 3. I got to see this live for the first time with Kevin Smith with an audience of fans, so that probably helps as well. There's a lot of things that will just have you busting the seams laughing, but more than anything, this movie got me to tear up over and over again. It broke me in a way that I did not expect, in this way that I've mentioned before in my review for this, that every one of these films, Clerks 1, 2, 3 now, have each released in a point where it felt like it was relevant and important to what I was going through at the time that I watched it. This movie tackled a lot of things that have been on my mind and been plaguing me for some time in a way that I just was unprepared for. Like, this is a movie that if you are middle-aged at all or hitting your middle ages, it might be a little hard to watch. You might think about some things you don't want to think about. It's something that definitely caught me off guard, and I've seen like a little bit of a divide in the fandom too, that, oh, why'd you have to go and get serious with this? But it plays that line. It has the heart. Considering this script was born from Kevin Smith's very own close call interaction with death with his heart attack. So it's a touchy subject, but it's one that sticks with you.
What the hell is this?
I added a scene where you get shot.
I'm not letting you kill me off in the third act. What if there's a sequel?
A sequel? What am I, a hack?
Number 3 is going to be the Batman. My number 2 and my number 3 is one I struggled with on settling on, but I think I'm going to go with the Batman only because I expected it to be as good as it was. I'm a huge DC fan, huge Batman fan, and Robert Pattinson did a phenomenal job in this role. It is not a fully developed Batman. He's only year 2 and he's still figuring things out. He hasn't quite got down this persona, this divide, this duality that is the Batman and Bruce Wayne just yet. There's still a lot of roughness around the edges, but it gives us a lot of things that I've been clamoring for in a Batman film for so long, and that is the detective aspect of this movie. It is very much a noir-style detective thriller, and I love it for that. It is brutal, it is intense, it is visually stunning. The cinematography in this movie alone is great, the score is great, everything in this movie is great. I just feel at the end of the day that what kept it from being number 2 is that I feel like there's still so much room to grow here and a lot that we don't know yet that's not quite fully formed that really has me excited for the Batman sequel whenever that comes out. Let's move on to my number 2, which surprised me how much I enjoyed it, and that is Top Gun Maverick. I watched the first Top Gun for the first time within this last year. My reaction to that viewing is on the channel right now. You could go check that out. That movie holds up. It really does. And I did get really emotionally connected to it in a way that I didn't quite expect. And then a lot of that carries over into this film in a lot of ways that both meets and exceeds the expectations set upon by the film and its legacy. And what I really enjoyed about Top Gun Maverick was not just the spectacle or the scope, but the way that it really carried over the themes and the connections from that first film and pushed them to new heights between his relationship with Goose's son Rooster and the kind of fallout that's happened over the years. This is, for me, probably one of the strongest performances I've ever seen out of Tom Cruise, and he really just brings it all to here. Forget about however you feel about him, but as an actor and a performer and somebody who lives and breathes for entertainment, he really made a movie that is the definition of must-see in theater. This, or the biggest screen necessary, surround sound system, all that, because the experience of itself was so thrilling. The cast is so rich. There's a lot of fun elements that they play with. The action is some of the most tense that I've seen all year, and the film is just beautiful. This movie blew me away. I saw it more than once in theaters, and for somebody who just saw the first one for the first time this year, this movie really did stick with me. And then I even got to take my mom to it because she was a huge Tom Cruise fan, and she doesn't get to go to the theater that often. So there's a couple things that probably kind of seed that a little bit, but I really did enjoy it so much, and it shocks me that I'm putting this over Batman right now. But my number 1, and you guys probably know what it's going to be, because there's the only thing that it could be, and that is Everything Everywhere All at Once. I know. Everybody's talking about this movie. Everybody's raved about this movie. I don't know what else to say about this movie that everybody has not already said, or something that I have not already said myself. This movie blew me away in every way. This movie literally has everything in it. Action, romance, drama, heart, comedy. It's sci-fi, horror. It's got everything in a way that doesn't distract or tear away from the characters. The drama, the core through line of the movie is just this broken family. This woman who's lost her way in life and how she gets back to that and finds herself again. It's just this really beautiful, heartbreaking, but also heartwarming dive through what it's like to just kind of like be lost in the sea of just life and relationships, these connections, these choices you've made or have not made, and getting a chance to kind of reconcile maybe some of these different paths you didn't know about. The choreography for the fight scenes is phenomenal. The creativity in this movie is phenomenal. The Daniels just brought to the table this movie that just, I don't know how it worked. On paper, I don't know how you sell or pitch this movie. I don't know how you made this movie. It boggles the mind, and it impressed me on every level. Michelle Yeoh gives a phenomenal performance in this film, man. Stephanie Sue Ke Huan, who this is his first return to acting in so many years, man. And he gets this phenomenal chance to shine in this film. Everybody does, man. There's not a weak link in this entire film. I ugly cried watching this movie. It's just so good. I literally laughed out loud during this movie. I was dead silent in the parts where you needed to be, and this movie got me ugly crying over a rock. If you have not seen this movie, it is a must see.
Every rejection, every disappointment has led you here to this moment. Don't let anything distract you from it.
And that has been my top 10 favorite films of 2022. As we head into the new year, I hope you all have a safe and happy weekend. And I love you guys. This year has been a phenomenal, wild journey with you all. We've had some of the biggest growth on the channel that we've had. So many new faces and people coming in and discovering us as we've branched out and expanded in a lot of ways to the types of things that we cover. And, you know, the collaborations and all the things that we've done here, all thanks to you guys. I love you all. Stay safe, have fun. And for now, I'd love to know your top 10 films of the year. So sound off the comments and let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Before we go, I want to shout out to channel legends, Manny Sherritt, Ryan Karen, Philly Vane, York, Corey Scott, Margaret Grace, Melita, Robert Anguiano, Raven McCann, Jeffrey Hell, M. Sephiroth, Jake Cantrell, and Amy Becca. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. But that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the new year. Take care, everybody.